Welcome to the Deep Dive. So, you've reached out because you're seeing some yellow vomit from your dog. And, well, that's exactly what we're going to dig into today. We've pulled together some really solid information that looks at the causes, what you can actually do about it, and maybe most importantly, when you should really start to worry.
Yeah, that's key.
Our whole goal with this deep dive is pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Give you clarity, give you some actionable steps so you feel, informed and kind of empowered when it comes to your dog's health.
Absolutely. And one of the first things to really get your head around, which our sources make clear, is that yellow color usually points straight to bile.
Bile.
Yeah, think of it like a natural digestive juice. It's made in the liver, stored in the gallbladder, and it's really essential for breaking down fats in their food.
Gotcha.
So the big question we're tackling here, the core of this deep dive is, what does my dog's yellow vomit actually mean? And, when should I be properly concerned?
Okay, so let's start there.
Yeah.
Dog throws up yellow. What's, the first possibility? What's happening inside?
Well, the info we have suggests that sometimes just occasional yellow vomit, it might simply mean your dog's stomach was empty for a bit too long. And the bile, which is, always there ready to digest, it starts irritating the stomach lining because there's nothing else in there. It even has a name, bilious vomiting syndrome.
Bilious vomiting. Okay.
Yeah, imagine your own stomach kind of churning away empty, and that bile just sloshing around causing discomfort. Eventually, it might just come back up.
So it's almost like their stomach's basically yelling, hey, feed me, and the bile's the only thing responding, causing this irritation.
That's a pretty good way to put it, yeah. Our sources really stress that, a single time might not be a huge red flag for you, but it's something to note.
Okay.
However, if you're seeing this happen frequently, like regularly, that's your cue to dig a little deeper. Because recurring yellow vomit could be a signpost for underlying gastrointestinal issues, maybe even liver problems or other things where you really need a vet's input.
That makes total sense. So it's less about the one-off color and more about the pattern, the frequency. Yeah. Okay. So what are some of the more common, maybe less scary reasons this might be happening?
Yeah, let's cover those. Our sources point to a few main culprits. First, like we just talked about, simply an empty stomach.
Right.
Long gap between meals, bile builds up, irritates the lining, boom, yellow vomit. The liver is always making bile, see? So if there's no food, it can back up sometimes.
Okay.
And the info suggests a simple fix often helps, feeding smaller meals, but more often through the day. That can manage it for you.
That sounds pretty straightforward, actually, a manageable solution.
Yeah.
What else? Let's be honest, dogs sometimes eat, anything. They're like little hoovers.
You absolutely hit on another super common one, dietary indiscretion. It's just a fancy way of saying they ate something they shouldn't have. Dogs explore with their mouths, right? It's natural. But that means garbage raids, stuff they find on walks, maybe even spoiled food.
Yep, seen it happen.
And when they eat something their system just rejects, the stomach's first defense is often, eviction, get it out. And that often includes bile. Our sources really hammer home the importance of trying to prevent that scavenging behavior.
Easier said than done sometimes, but definitely crucial. Okay, so empty stomach, eating garbage. What's another common trigger the info highlights?
The third big one our sources bring up is food intolerance and allergies, just like people.
Okay.
Your dog might be sensitive to specific ingredients, could be certain proteins, maybe grains, even dairy sometimes. So when a dog with that intolerance eats the trigger food, it causes inflammation, irritation in the gut. And that can definitely show up as vomiting, often yellow because, again, bile is involved in digestion.
Right.
So for you, in that case, the key is figuring out what that ingredient is and then obviously cutting it out of their diet. That's crucial.
Okay, so those sort of the usual suspects. But when should you, listening right now, really start to feel that uh-oh feeling? When does this yellow stuff point to something potentially more serious?
That's the critical question, isn't it? Our sources are really clear here. Persistent vomiting, meaning it keeps happening, especially if it comes with other concerning symptoms, well, that's a major red flag you just can't ignore.
Like what kind of symptoms?
So if you're seeing the yellow vomit and your dog seems unusually tired, lethargic,
Okay.
or they have diarrhea, maybe they're losing weight and you don't know why, or there are big changes in appetite, either not eating much or suddenly ravenous, These can all point towards more serious underlying health issues. And that absolutely means a vet visit is needed for you.
And the information we looked at specifically mentions a couple of serious conditions linked to this, doesn't it? Let's unpack those. First up was pancreatitis.
Yes, exactly. Pancreatitis. It's basically an inflammation of the pancreas, and it is a serious condition that can definitely show up with yellow vomit in your dog.
What causes that?
Our sources mention things like a really high-fat diet, obesity can be a factor, or even certain medications they might be on. And the key symptoms for you to watch for, besides the vomiting, are signs of abdominal pain. Maybe they seem restless, or have a hunched posture, or don't want their belly touched.
Oh, okay. Subtle signs sometimes.
Yeah, can be. Plus loss of appetite and often diarrhea, too. Pancreatitis can get really dangerous fast if it's not treated, so if you even suspect it, get to the vet immediately. It's vital for your dog.
Wow, okay. Definitely noted. And the other condition mentioned was liver disease.
That's right. The liver does so much in your dog's body, digestion, detoxification, loads of stuff. And one key job is making that bile we talked about. So if the liver isn't working right, it can absolutely mess with the bile production and will lead to yellow vomit.
What else might you see with liver issues?
Our sources say look out for things like jaundice. That's a yellowing tinge in the skin, gums, or whites of their eyes.
Right.
Also maybe increased thirst, changes in urination frequency, even behavioral changes sometimes. With liver problems, catching it early and getting the right treatment is just so important for managing it and giving your dog the best outlook.
Okay, definitely serious stuff to keep an eye out for. Now, flipping back a bit, what about those, more isolated incidents? Maybe it's this empty stomach thing. Does the information suggest any home remedies you could try then?
Yes, definitely. For those times when you're pretty sure it's just related to an empty tummy, our sources do offer a few things you can try at home for your dog.
Like what?
Well, one we already covered. Try feeding smaller portions, but more often through the day. Help stop that bile just sitting there.
Makes sense.
Another classic recommendation is offering a bland diet for a day or two. Think plain boiled chicken, maybe mixed with some plain white rice.
Ah, the old chicken and rice trick.
Exactly. It's super easy on an irritated digestive system, gives them some easily digestible nutrition. It often helps things settle down.
Good tip. What else can you do at home if it seems like a minor upset for your dog?
Hydration. It's absolutely key for you to focus on. Vomiting obviously causes fluid loss, which can lead to dehydration pretty quickly.
Right.
So encouraging your dog to drink is really important. Our sources suggest offering small amounts of fresh water frequently. Don't let them gulp a huge amount at once if they've been sick, just little bits often.
Okay.
You could also try ice cubes. Some dogs love crunching them and it gets fluid in slowly. Or even try adding a tiny bit of very diluted, low-sodium chicken broth to their water to make it more tempting.
Good ideas.
But, you have to monitor their intake. If they just won't drink or if they keep vomiting up the water, that's a clear signal. Time to call the vet.
Got it. And the info also mentioned probiotics. We hear about those for humans all the time. Similar concept for dogs.
Very similar, yes. The whole idea with probiotics is helping maintain a healthy balance of good bacteria in the gut and the gut microbiome. Our sources suggest that adding probiotics might be beneficial for your dog's overall digestive health and could potentially maybe help reduce vomiting episodes.
Where do you get those?
You can find them in some dog foods or as supplements. But honestly, like with any supplement, it's really best for you to chat with your vet first.
Right.
They can tell you if probiotics are actually a good idea for your specific dog and recommend the right type and dose. Don't just guess.
Sound advice. Always check with vet.
Oh.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly to prevention. How can you stop this from happening, or at least reduce the chances? The info goes into some dietary changes for you.
Right, because diet is so fundamental for preventing digestive upset in your dog. Our sources really stress feeding a good quality, well-balanced diet that's right for their age, puppy, adult, senior, and also considers their weight and how active they are.
So not just any food off the shelf.
Exactly. High-quality commercial food is usually the way to go, but make sure it fits your dog's specific needs. And like we touched on with sensitivities, if you do change their food, do it slowly.
Yeah, you mentioned that. How slow?
The recommendation is usually a gradual transition over about 7 to 10 days for you. Mix a little of the new food with the old, gradually increasing the new and decreasing the old. Helps their system adjust.
That slow intro really seems key, doesn't it? What if you suspect your dog does have those food sensitivities we mentioned earlier?
Yeah, for dogs with sensitive stomachs or suspected allergies, our sources suggest looking into limited ingredient diets, sometimes called LID or maybe hypoallergenic formulas.
Okay.
These are made with fewer ingredients overall, trying to minimize potential triggers, and are often easier for sensitive dogs to digest. But again, even switching to one of these, do it gradually for your dog.
Got it. Gradual's the word.
And our info also backs up having a consistent feeding schedule. Feeding at roughly the same times each day helps regulate their digestive system. And interestingly, if that empty stomach vomiting is a regular thing for your dog, one source even suggests trying a small snack right before bedtime for them.
Oh, interesting. Little bedtime biscuit.
Could help. But ultimately, for the absolute best, most personalized diet advice, talk to your vet. They know your dog's history.
Absolutely. Vet knows best. Now, we talked about hydration as a fix, but it's also just crucial day to day, right? For preventing problems.
Oh, massively. Our sources really hammer this home. Hydration isn't just important when they're sick, it's vital for their overall health, period.
Right.
Being dehydrated can make vomiting worse, obviously, but it can also contribute to really serious issues like kidney problems or even heat stroke, especially when it's warm out. You've got to ensure your dog always has access to fresh, clean water. Always.
Non-negotiable.
Totally. And keep an eye on how much they're actually drinking, especially after exercise or on hot days.
And how can you tell if your dog is getting dehydrated? What are the warning signs for you to look out for?
Yeah, there are a few key signs our sources list. Things like their gums feeling dry or sticky to the touch.
Right.
Their eyes might look a bit sunken. They might seem really low energy, lethargic. And then their skin elasticity.
The skin pinch test.
Exactly. You gently pinch a little fold of skin on their back or maybe the top of their head. If it snaps back quickly, that's good. If it goes back slowly or stays tented up, that's a definite sign of dehydration.
Good to know.
And if you see those signs or suspect dehydration, that warrants prompt vet care for your dog. They might need fluids intravenously, which you can't do at home.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like we said, encourage drinking with fresh water, ice cubes, maybe that diluted broth.
Okay. Hydration, critical. Got it.
Yeah.
Let's circle back now to the really crucial part for you.
Yeah.
When do you absolutely, positively need to get your dog to the vet? We've mentioned symptoms, but let's really nail down those red flags.
Right. Let's consolidate. Our sources are very direct here. If the yellow vomiting is persistent, it keeps happening, and it's paired with any of those other worrying signs like lethargy, diarrhea, weight loss, appetite changes, then yes, a vet visit is definitely needed for your dog.
Okay.
But then there are the immediate red flags, situations where you don't wait. If you see any blood in the vomit, could be bright red, could look like coffee grounds, if the vomiting is projectile, like really forceful, shooting out.
Wow.
Or if your dog seems to be in severe abdominal pain, any of those, that's an emergency. Get veterinary care right away for your dog.
Okay, blood, projectile, severe pain equals emergency. Anything else in that urgent category for you?
Yes. If you know, or even just strongly suspect, your dog ate something toxic, chocolate, xylitol, certain plants, antifreeze, whatever, or swallowed a foreign object, like part of a toy, a rock, a sock.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
That's also an immediate emergency vet visit situation. Time is critical with toxins and obstructions. And if you go, try to tell the vet exactly what you think they ate, how much, and when. Every detail helps.
That's super important advice for everyone listening. Okay, finally, the sources also talk about just general proactive stuff, right? The things you can do to keep your dog healthy overall and maybe dodge these issues.
Yeah, the prevention angle.
Yeah.
Our sources definitely circle back to maintaining that balanced diet and avoiding sudden food changes for your dog. That's foundational.
They also really stress the value of regular vet checkups, just like for us. These visits let the vet monitor things, catch problems early, keep vaccinations up to date, do parasite control.
Yeah, those annuals are important.
They really are.
Yeah.
Routine blood work during those visits can sometimes pick up underlying issues like early liver or kidney changes, way before you'd ever notice symptoms at home.
And what about just making their environment safe?
Huge part of it, absolutely.
Yeah.
For you, that means dog-proofing your home and yard. Keep harmful chemicals, toxic plants, human medications, small swallowable objects securely out of reach.
Makes sense.
And supervise them outside, especially if they're prone to scavenging. Keep them from eating random stuff off the ground.
Right.
Beyond that, the sources give a nod to making sure your dog gets enough mental and physical stimulation walks, playtime, training. A happy, stimulated dog is often a healthier dog.
True.
And interestingly, one source actually recommended a specific book for you called The Forever Dog, mentioned it as a good, well-researched resource on nutrition and wellness for dogs. Oh, The Forever Dog. I say, okay, little bonus tip there for you listening. So really wrapping this all up, it sounds like just understanding the why behind the yellow vomit, the different potential causes, is the biggest step for you, right? That lets you know how to react.
Exactly. Because while, yeah, sometimes it might just be an empty stomach thing for your dog, being aware, being vigilant, and knowing those serious warning signs, that's absolutely crucial for their health in the long run.
And in the end, like our sources keep reminding us, your vet is your #1 partner in this. They're the expert who can give you that personalized care and really address your specific concerns about your dog.
Couldn't agree more. They have the knowledge, the diagnostic tools, everything needed to figure out what's really going on and create the right treatment plan, tailored specifically for your furry friend's unique needs.
So thinking about everything we've gone over today, your dog's digestion, all those potential triggers for yellow vomit, what's maybe one small change you could make starting today to proactively support your dog's well-being going forward? Definitely something for you to chew on. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.